So I made a post today, and the post says, I want my mindset to grow and improve so much that every year, even my own friends don't recognize me. The theme here is personal evolution, and what does that look like for us? Evolution is nothing new to this planet. In fact, it is the planet. Life has been evolving since 4 billion years ago. And if we are so fortunate, we get to spend 70, 80, 90 plus years on this planet. So, what sort of evolution can we expect for ourselves? And not just physical and the growth of, yes, we grew from a tiny baby to now we may be a 5 or 6 foot tall human being. But what about our mindset? What about our behaviors? I moved to California 10 years ago, and in those first few years, I remember making a call to a friend and asking, man, why am I not farther in life? Like I have this and this going for me, but I've only accomplished so much and I'm already 27, and why haven't I accomplished more? And I'm very happy and proud to say that since that time, I really haven't had to make that phone call again. And it's not about reaching out to people. Some people are like, oh, yeah, men shouldn't keep their thoughts and emotions to themselves. They should share with their community, blah, blah, blah. That's not my point. My point was about the tone, right? It was a tone of defeat, it was a tone of victimhood. So, what am I proud about exactly? It's that I don't allow that tone or that vibration to take me over to such an extent that I am compelled to make a phone call like that. A help me phone call. And it's fine if I have to make a help me phone call, okay, fine. But I don't want to make a help me phone call about a problem that I had the year before that I never figured out, I never solved, and now a year later I'm in the same exact place. Going back to evolution, we grow. This is what happens on Earth. Imagine, it's kind of comical that I thought about this, but imagine your friend comes to you and says, hey, did you hear about Joe? Yeah, Joe, he died. He's not around anymore. You hear what happened to him? He got eaten by a tiger. Maybe 50,000 years ago, stuff like that happened, but that doesn't happen now. So if we had that problem before, we don't have that problem anymore. And that is almost, to me, that phrase, that collection and string of words is almost like golden, right? I don't have that problem anymore. Like that is always something to celebrate. It's a gift. I think when a human being can make that statement, I don't have that problem anymore. Here's another example of like something maybe not related to evolution or science, but more so business. Because I read a lot of business magazines these days. And what's fascinating to me is like when a company does not keep up with the times, like if they don't modernize, they've got either computer systems that are outdated or even worse, their system is like pen and paper and it hasn't even been digitized yet. And these companies are just going to go under. There needs to be a force of innovation for them to keep up. So let's wrap this up by talking about childhood and adolescence versus adulthood. So my nephew's turning 2 years old this month, and it's really fun to watch him progress from week to week. One week he's crawling, next week he's walking. One week he knows a couple of words, following week he knows double the amount of words. And I got to say this because it's such a trippy thought, but it's true. If you watch a kid progress throughout their childhood, you're really witnessing a fast recap of all of human history. 5 to 7 million years ago is when humans started to walk. Well, eventually a toddler begins to walk. Then 70,000 years ago, humans started talking, like verbal communication. At some point, that child is going to start talking. Then about 3,400 BC, they say, is when humans started writing. Eventually, that child's going to start writing. That was a bit of a tangent, but here's my main point, is that each year you can look at that kid and be like, wow, you can do this. Even when they go from 15 to 16, it's like, whoa, now you can drive now. And wow, you're like taller than you were last year. Like, wow. But it almost feels like that comes to a gradual halt somewhere in the 20s. And I never understood why it should be like that. Like, why should it stop? I'll tell you what, if a 30-year-old comes to me and says, you know what, yeah, I need to get really better at public speaking. I just have this big fear about it. A year later, when they're a 31-year-old and not a 30-year-old, I don't want to be hearing them say the same thing. They have all the resources. I want to be saying, wow, like, you really did all those speeches last week? Like, whoa, like last year you said you were too afraid to go on stage. And see, that's what I'm trying to get at with that post that I made. It's like, as adults, how can we keep that excitement about getting to the next level? How can we gain those skills? How can we keep evolving in such a way that we're unrecognizable to how we were before? So that's the message for today. Thank you for watching. Think deeply and put your existence first.